Good Monday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. I'm your meteorologist, Jesse Peterson, and let's go on and talk about the weather for your Monday evening going into your future. We have some stuff that we are going to go on and talk about tonight, but before we get into that, what are we actually going to talk about tonight in general? So, number one, obviously, we'll talk about the current conditions, what's currently going on right now throughout the state. We also will talk about the weather as we go into tonight and tomorrow. We'll also talk about our short term future, long term future, and then we also will go on and talk about the what's on tap screen, which is the main points. Dry and warming trend dominates throughout the early week. We'll also talk about our first rain chances arrive as we go into Wednesday. Brief dry spell and cooling on Thursday, and then an increasing rain chance late week into the weekend. So that's the main things, like the main points that we're going to hit on. But mainly short term, long term future. That's what we're talking about. As usual. If you have not hit the like button yet, go on and do so. Right now we have around, so far it seems like only a couple of people have made it in, and only right now a couple of likes. So not too many people have showed up so far yet. I assume that number will go up. But for right now, if YouTube for some reason is glitching, go on and hit the like button if you have not already. Also share with your friends, family members, acquaintances. Tell them to subscribe to the channel. We're at 702, trying to get to 898 subscribers away from that main goal of 800. But now with all of that out of the way, let's go and look at our live radar right now, what's currently going on throughout the state. And you can see right now absolutely nothing. We are nice and dry right now throughout the entire state of South Carolina. So you do not have to worry about anything in terms of rainfall activity. But if we go on and scroll our way out, see what's going on throughout the entire U.S., obviously not all could be said. Not all can be said here for the entire U.S. in terms of how dry it is, especially for how dry it is over here inside of the entire state. Now, if you go in and look at it, we do in fact have some rainfall going on. Minnesota, we have some sleet going on in Wisconsin. UP of Michigan, we have some snow and some sleet going on in Michigan. We have some snow and some rainfall in South Dakota, Nebraska, also over here in Montana, Colorado, Idaho. Rainfall going on up here inside the northern Four Corners region, even over here inside of California, and even over here in some rainfall in Washington State. Maybe some isolated snowfall with it as well, snow flurries with it. Now, what about for our cloud cover? Well, cloud cover right now seems to be showing more of a lower cloud risk and more of an isolated cloud risk. Nothing too crazy for the state right now. Just seeing some clouds in the northern parts of Florence, maybe the northern parts of the Columbia area. But for the most part, looks like that we are mainly looking mostly clear. Even if we go in and look at our cloud cover for the future. Start off here at 10 o'clock instead, and you can see clear conditions. We go through, and I want you to notice something. Look over there inside the low country. Look inside of the southern Midlands. You can even look over there inside of the Grand Strand area. You can see that we have some clouds moving in. Clouds is the blue areas. White is the clear areas. So kind of vice versa from what you might think. And you can kind of see as this kind of appears, it doesn't appear as regular cloud cover. It kind of just appears out of nowhere, like almost gradually at a point in time. And I can automatically tell you right here, in the fact that it's almost so stationary, this is fog. This is fog as we go into tomorrow morning. So some fog cover definitely is possible as we go throughout the low country, as you go throughout the southern Midlands, as you go throughout the Grand Strand, maybe even the PD areas as well. And that goes all the way to 8 o'clock in the morning. Look at even 9 o'clock in the morning, we may still have some fog cover going on inside of the PD and the Grand Strand areas. But it will be done in like the low country by around maybe around like 7 o'clock in the morning-ish or so. And then as you continue, past all that fog cover, you get to around 10 o'clock in the morning, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock p.m. We now have cloud cover now moving in from the west over inside of the state by around 12 p.m. going through tomorrow afternoon, going into tomorrow evening. Here 7 o'clock p.m. Cloud cover now going on throughout the entire state tomorrow evening. You go to around 10 o'clock p.m., 11 o'clock p.m., 12 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday. You have some isolated clear spots here and there, but some cloud cover is also here, here and there. Going into around 3 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday. And, that just continues all the way through Wednesday afternoon. Even as you get into Wednesday evening, cloud cover is now pretty much just trying to take its way out of the state by that time, but looks like some more will be coming right after it, Wednesday evening. So that's just what we're looking at here in terms of cloud cover for a future. A lot of things to look at, a lot of things to, just to kind of just see what happens. But fog definitely is something to watch out for tomorrow. Now, what's going on right now throughout the state in terms of current temperatures? Well, right now we're gonna start off different. We're gonna start off in the upstate. This time, you have right now current temperatures around 44 in Greenville, 45 in Spartanburg, as well as 43 in Gaffney, 43 York, 41 Rock Hill, as well as 47 in Anderson, 45 in Clemson, as well as 46 in Newberry, 44 in Columbia, and 42 in Lugoff, 41 in Lancaster, and 47 in Greenwood, 48 in Aiken, and 46 in Orangeburg, 42 in Sumter, 39 in Hartsville, 37 in Bennettsville, and 39 in Florence. We also do have around a good 38 in Conway, 44 Myrtle Beach and Murray's Inlet at 47, 43 inside of Somerville, and even around 49 in Charleston, 47 in Beaufort, and 50 in Hilton Head Island. Air quality, for the most part, looks like that we have a little bit of a moderate area over there on the western side. Not quite unhealthy for sensitive groups, but moderate, not the best, but 51 to 100 out of, 301 plus. So pretty low. Low temperatures, and we usually will start for the upstate for when it comes to our temperatures, but let's start inside of the low country this time. So you start off around like 38 inside of Moncks Corner. You have 44 in Charleston, 47 in Head Island, as well as a good 39 in Walterboro, 37 in Georgetown, even 38 in Myrtle Beach, 33 Kingstree, and 33 also inside of Florence, 31 in Sherrod and Dillon, as well as 35 in Sumter, 37 in Columbia, and 38 inside of Orangeburg, 39 Barnwell, as well as Aiken, 37 in Newberry, Greenwood, 35 in Lawrence, 37 in Greenville, and 37 also inside of Anderson, 34 in Spartanburg. High temperatures for tomorrow. Yes, you are seeing these correctly. I'm not joking with you. This is not an early April Fool's prank. But you're seeing 70s, 74 in Walterboro, 67 inside of Charleston, 68 Hilton Head Island. You even see around a good 71 Moncks Corner, 68 inside of Georgetown, 64 in Myrtle Beach, and 70 in Florence, 70 Kingstree, 68 in Dillon, and 73 in Camden, 74 also inside of Columbia, and 73 in Aiken, 72 in Greenwood, Newberry, 70, Rock Hill, 72 also inside of Lawrence and Anderson, as well as 71 in Greenville, 72 in Spartanburg. Now for our rainfall, just in general, just in terms of total precipitation, looks like right now that we aren't really looking at much. Precipitation not expected throughout the next 24 hours, so you don't have to worry about any sort of rainfall, snowfall, ice, sleet, anything like that. Now for the crazy score. If you have no idea what the crazy score is, it is a score that we see how crazy the weather is right now throughout the entire state of South Carolina. And right now we're at a 34. Why? Well, for the most part, number one, it is mainly because of a little chance for that fog. Obviously, that's probably one of the main reasons. Also, cold. We're going to see freezing temperatures tonight. That's also a bit of a concern, but also something that I didn't really say too much about, but frost. Frost is definitely also a pretty big issue as we go throughout tonight, mainly in those rural, sheltered, inland locations. And when I say that, I usually mean, like, for example, kind of like the upstate areas, midland areas, and other inland areas like that. Now, that frost, maybe even may even see a little frost advisory later tonight. Not right now. There's not one out right now, but frost advisories, is definitely possible. In the cooler inland / upstate pockets, if winds stay light, skies stay clear. Now it's not currently said inside the current data right now from the NWS right now, but I do think there could be that possibility for it there. So, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens there. Now, if we go on and look at the SPC outlook, thunderstorms, not expected for tonight, tomorrow. Thunderstorms not expected. Wednesday, thunderstorms not expected. So we are good here throughout the entire state. Fire weather, nothing expected there. Excessive rainfall, nothing expected here. So we're good throughout all of these areas. Now, what about if we go into the model? So we're going to talk about the short term first. We're going to start off here at 9 o'clock p.m. If you want to push this forward, you can see, for the most part, that we stay dry all the way throughout tonight, all the way throughout tomorrow morning. Stay nice and dry going into tomorrow night. We look good. But then what about Wednesday? Look at this. As we go into Tuesday night, going into Wednesday morning, here's 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock. You start to see this rainfall really start to move its way in, all the way from the upstate over inside of the Midland areas. And so, even as you go to 7 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, we're seeing light to potentially even moderate activity throughout the Midland areas, throughout the PD areas in terms of rainfall. Low country seeing a couple of light showers here and there going into like that morning time as well. Upstate starting to kind of get the end part of it. They dry out as you get later into the morning. Start to see a little bit of a drying period in that middle portion right there. But as it just continues to move its way over towards the east, here's 1 o'clock p.m., staying now dry inside the Midlands and the upstate, but the low country still seeing their rainfall going all the way to 3 o'clock p.m., 4 o'clock p.m., 5 o'clock p.m. Then as we get to around 7 to 8 o'clock p.m., that rainfall is completely gone. But here's like a little rerun if you want to go in and see it. Like I'm saying, I think that for the most part, let me go in and scoot this forward a little bit because it's going a bit slow. I can I? Yes, I can. But like I said, for the most part, as you just go over the rerun again, there it goes forming over there in the west. Going into around like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, it's going to enter its way through. 5 o'clock really make its presence, and as you go through all the way throughout the morning time period, it's going to make its mark known throughout much of the state with light to moderate rainfall. So definitely watch out for that. Upstate, late Tuesday night going to Wednesday morning seems like your time frame. Midlands, that gets to around probably early morning to potentially late morning. Low country, it could be, as early as early morning, but I think the main time frame will probably be around like mid morning going into like later morning going to early afternoon. And then also the PD areas over there is kind of like a mix. Could happen as early morning and last as late afternoon on Wednesday. And then also, I also forgot to mention that it could go potentially even longer than that in the low country, potentially all the way to around 5 to 6 p.m.-ish or so, and even later. So that's it for the short-term future if you want to go in and pay attention at that also. If we go in and look at it right now, look at our map, not 700 subscribers. You can see this is right here Wednesday night. Right here, this is Wednesday night. And you can clearly see here that we do, in fact, have a cold front passing us. So expect a cold front to make its way through as we go throughout Wednesday during the day. And especially as you get towards Wednesday night. It's going to be off the coast by that point. So expect a cold front on Wednesday. So looking at now our long-term future, so past everything that I just said, you can see starting off here at the 54-hour mark at 7 o'clock p.m., you go in and push this forward, you can see rainfall as it moves its way out, going into around 7 o'clock p.m., 10 o'clock p.m., going all the way to 7 o'clock in the morning here on Friday. You have rainfall now that's not quite making an appearance yet, but as you go throughout 7 o'clock p.m., going into 10 o'clock p.m., you have rainfall now making its way throughout a good amount of the state going into around Saturday, like early morning, like at 1 a.m. And so that pushed its way through, and that's just a little appetizer. You know, you go into around Saturday here, 7 o'clock p.m. right here, and just kind of crazy just to see how quickly, or how slowly, I should say, that rainfall tries to move its way through. I mean, this is it at 1 o'clock p.m. Look at it at 10 o'clock. I mean, it hasn't really even reached too much of the coastal areas, hasn't reached too much of the low country either, but, you know, things will change. It's 100 plus hours out. Then you move into Sunday. And here's 7 o'clock in the morning, still some rainfall, but here's 10 o'clock in the morning. And you can see easily a low pressure system moving its way through, a cold front, easily moving its way through here, going into Sunday afternoon here. We have rainfall inside the upstate. We have rainfall inside of the Midland areas. I mean, we see rainfall inside the low country. Here's 10 o'clock p.m. Sunday going into Monday. And Monday, you know, by Monday morning, it's going to be cleared out, good to go. But it will be a wet Sunday night as you go into next weekend. And so, you know, make sure that you're prepared for that. But if we go into the specifics of it, we can go into the specifics of it because I know I even read something in the discussion that said that, you know, there might be some thunder with it, which means thunderstorms probably will be back. If you're going to push this forward, I mean, you can see Cape is definitely in the atmosphere. I mean, you see 191, 230, you know, not crazy at all. But, you know, it's there. It's there. You know, we'll see what happens, you know, 147 hours out at that point. You know, we'll see what happens here. But in terms of, like, possible hazard types, I don't see anything here either. So that's all that I really can say there. Now, in terms of, you know, moisture and stuff like that, you can check and see what's going on in terms of the dew points. You can see what's going on in terms of winds as well up in the atmosphere. I mean, you see, for the most part, we're up into the 60s. You know, the moisture is there. Moisture for sure is there. Even as you go into the actual winds in the atmosphere as well, they're going to be kind of going, you know, definitely. I mean, you see 60s, you see 70s around here and there. But like I said, nothing too crazy. So I'm not really eyeing this saying, oh, we gotta, you know, we gotta watch for this system a lot. You know, we gotta, you know, everybody needs to be going on and doing this, doing that, you know. But even if we go and look at the European model, which, you know, this might say something completely different. Dew points for the European model says, you know, same thing, 60s for a lot of us. You go into the winds up in the atmosphere. I mean, it shows those winds cranking all the way up to 50, 60 knots or so. And then if you go in and look at Cape, it actually does not have Cape. That's kind of sad, actually. Hold on. Let me see if the other one has it real quick. I'm just going to move you to the excessive rainfall one real quick and see if I can find it on here. If not, then that is fine. It actually does not. So that's actually kind of shocking. But I mean, you just saw it though. I mean, you see the winds up there cranking inside the atmosphere. You see the moisture is there. And then you saw that there was also some Cape there. So the activity is there. The stuff is there for a thunderstorm to potentially happen. Will it happen though? You know, that's the main question that we still have to ask. That's still the main question. But that's all that I really have to say there. So let's go in and continue our way forward back into our convection precipitation type right here. We're going to start off as you continue this way forward even more. You know, potentially a thunderstorm threat next weekend. Push this forward, and now at this point, you know, we're getting a bit further out. High pressure takes over potentially as you go into like the middle part of February, and maybe a little bit later. Maybe talking about some more rainfall as you go into Friday the 21st. Again, way too far out, 260 something hours out at this point. So, you know, still a bit far out, but showing some active activity potentially as we get into like February, like the in between the 21st, you know, 20th, 21st, you know, 23rd, 24th, somewhere in that time frame, we could potentially be looking at something there. So, you know, we'll continue to keep an eye out on that. And I think that that's about all that I have to say there in terms of our long-term future. That's all I really have to say there for the long-term future. So we're going to go on now. Long-term future for convection, because we still have to talk about temperature, though, because that's something that I do want to talk about right here. Here is the GFS right here. And as you start off, we're going to start off here at Monday night. You're going to look at these anomalies here. You go in and push it forward. I mean, you see we are heavily above average on Tuesday. We go into Wednesday heavily above average. I mean, we're 20 to 25 degrees above average inside of the upstate. So we're getting nice, warm temperatures tomorrow up in the 70s. But that cold front will come in on Wednesday, Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday night, Wednesday evening, whenever time it passes by your house. And it will just completely drop it. We'll start to see temperatures near average to maybe even below average going into Thursday morning. You go into Friday, things start to get a little bit better for some spots, but we're still mainly just near normal. As you go into like Friday morning here, you go into Friday afternoon, Friday evening, and cold air tries to like make a little bit of its presence known, but like I said, it's not going to get too much from that near average state. You continue even, further with it. You go past Saturday going into Sunday. I mean, it looks like that we will be warming up, 10 to 15 degrees above average, as you go into the weekend potentially. But like I said, not what we were just seeing like tomorrow, for example. Really, maybe as you go later, into the weekend, later into like the weekend, early week, potentially as you go into next week. But 200 plus hours out, things will obviously change there. And, this is the point where we would have to start looking at ensembles and stuff like that and seeing what in the world they would even have to say, about it. But that's all that I have to say really in terms of our long-term future. So let's go on now and talk with the audience. If you want to be part of the audience, you can by joining us at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say for tonight. Starting off, Mr. Chris is here first. He says, good evening, everyone. Hope you had a great day. I did. Thank you so much for asking. Maya Lewis says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. Mr. Chris then comes back and says, was very comfortable here in Moncks Corner. It was around 56. I'm glad to hear that. And then Maya Lewis says, I pray that everyone had a wonderful day. Well, I did. Thank you so much for asking. She also says today in Georgetown, our high was 44. Currently, it's 40 degrees right now. Well, thank you so much for that weather update for where you are. My current temperatures right now actually are around 42 at my house. The highest temperature right now seems like it was only around 56. So 12 degrees above where you were. But at my house, it's at around 56 up here. And then Mr. Chris continues, says currently it's 42 here, partly cloudy. And then as you continue our way down, Mr. Chris says, please remember to go and hit the like button and the subscribe button. Also share with everyone that you know. It's free and it helps the channel grow. Absolutely correct. You are absolutely correct with that. And right now, if I go in and check, I mean, we've had 18 people tune in tonight. Why do we only have 3 likes? If you're a part of that group of 15 that have not hit the like button yet, go in and do so. It's free, and you can change your mind at any time. And even for example, I can definitely see more than 3 people talking inside the chat. So if you are, like I said, if you have not hit the like button yet, go in and do so. It's free, and you can change your mind at any time. Then Thad says, good evening, Joseph, and the 360 weather family. Trust all is well with everyone. It was another beautiful day here in San Antonio in the 80s. Well, that's great to hear. You will, unfortunately, not see the 80s tomorrow, but it still will be pretty warm. And then Maya Lewis says again, today in Georgetown was a beautiful day. My Nana says, hello, Jay, my phone is a joke. I cannot control it. I'll have to look at it for you later. Either sometime later this week or on Sunday, whichever day. Then Maya Lewis says, my goodness, we will get warm weather and then another cold front. Absolutely. Trail says, greetings, everyone. Beautiful day here. Well, I'm glad to hear that. And now that's all I can see inside the chat for me. So let's go on and talk about the 4 locations outside of South Carolina. You might be asking, 4 locations outside of South Carolina, what are you talking about? I'm talking about San Antonio, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as well as Duncan, Oklahoma. The reason why we talk about these areas is because we have people from these areas who tune in almost nightly, and because they tune in almost nightly, we go in and give them their weather forecast. But first, before we do that, I want to go on real quick and switch it up a bit tonight. So we're going to talk about Raleigh first tonight, then go Philadelphia, then go Duncan, then go back to San Antonio, just to switch it up a little bit, and we'll switch it up over the next couple of days. But we're going to start off, like I said, with Raleigh. Low temperatures tonight at around 28. High temperatures tomorrow 65, and low temperatures tomorrow night at 50. Precipitation not expected at this time. Wednesday, there is a little slight chance of rain, but that's about it. May see some more rain on Saturday, but you will see some rainfall on Sunday. You have an 80% chance already, Sunday going into Sunday night. And then President's Day next week, you'll see your chance of precipitation being around 30%. So that's what we're looking at here in terms of, your future. And, you have no severe weather, no excessive rainfall, anything like that. No locations have severe weather or excessive rainfall. In fact, even if you go into your temperatures for the future, it looks like that you will be actually a bit on the cool down. You have 65 tomorrow, but on Friday, 51. Sunday, 54. And then you'll start to warm back up as you get into next week. Now for Philadelphia, you have low temperatures tonight around 16, high temperatures tomorrow at 38, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 30. Precipitation is possible tomorrow night, slight chance of rainfall Tuesday night tomorrow. After that, maybe a little chance on Sunday. Sunday, you have a 60% chance of rain and snow, so a mix of rain and snow on Sunday. And then that will also come with temperatures decreasing, kind of decreasing and increasing. It's kind of like, can't really make up its mind at this point. You have 38 on Tuesday, then you have 34 on Friday, but then you have 39 on Wednesday, and then you go back up to 39 on Sunday. So you're kind of just staying in that 30 range in terms of temperatures as you go all the way throughout the rest of the week. And then temperatures, in terms of low temperatures, seem like that you will go up in terms of low temperatures, though. Not until you take a little dip, though, as you go into like Thursday night and Friday night. Then for Duncan, Oklahoma, you have low temperatures tonight around 54, high temperatures tomorrow at around 64, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 43. Precipitation not expected at this time for tonight. Tomorrow, slight chance of showers, and tomorrow night, chance of showers as well. So that's what we're looking at there. 20% tomorrow, and then a 30% tomorrow night. Now, what about for your future? Looks like for your temperatures, you will actually be increasing. 78 on Thursday, 73 on Friday. And then in terms of your rainfall, you definitely will see some rainfall as you go into the weekend, though. Like Friday night, 90% chance. Friday during the day, 60. Saturday, 70. And then it'll drop off going into Saturday night. And then finally for San Antonio, Texas, low temperatures tonight around 58. High temperatures tomorrow around 76. And then low temperatures tomorrow night at 60. Precipitation not expected tonight, but tomorrow. Not only do you have a chance for some fog tomorrow, kind of like a lot of us over here inside of South Carolina, but also chance of showers tomorrow night as well. That does come with a rain chance. Also on Wednesday, and then maybe even Friday night going into Saturday, which it seems like you will be receiving rain this weekend. It's almost like all of these locations are just gonna receive rain this weekend. From Oklahoma down into Texas, all the way over into South Carolina, into North Carolina, into up there inside of Philadelphia. It just looks like all these areas are going to try and receive some rainfall as you go into Friday, or have at least a high chance of receiving rainfall going into Friday, Saturday, and then maybe going into Sunday. In terms of your temperatures, though, you will increase. Like I said, you're not done. Thursday, 81. Friday, 83. Monday of next week, 80. So you're still going to be high in terms of your temperatures. And that's all that I really have to say here in terms of your conditions. So for the 4 locations outside of South Carolina. So let's go in and talk about everyone inside the U.S. one more time and throughout South Carolina in terms of our weather news segment. A Clipper system tracking across the U.S./Canadian border will bring snowfall and mixed precipitation across the Northeast. A modest atmospheric river associated with the Pacific system will bring lower elevation rainfall, and maybe even some coastal rainfall, and also will bring that higher elevation snow and wintry mix and gusty wind in California into the Intermountain West. So a lot of things going on there. We're going to see some snowfall as well. Well, I'm pretty sure you talked about it, but over there in the Northeast, over in there into the UP of Michigan, inside of northern Michigan, we're going to see some dense fog inside of southern Louisiana, Mississippi. Alabama's going to receive some fog. western Florida, some dense fog. And then for the most part, that's about it. A little bit of a flood watch over there in eastern Nebraska, but it's apparently due to something called ice jams. It says the formation of ice jam could result in sudden rises of water, leading to rapid flooding situation. Ice jams can cause water level fluctuations of 1 to 3 feet over a very short time period and without much notice. I think that's mainly oh yeah, okay, it's areas along rivers. Okay. Yeah, I've never heard of that about that before, but so that's interesting. I'm gonna have to look that up tonight and actually see what that actually is more in depth. But that's all. Top fans of the night for tonight. Honestly, it was just back and forth again. Back and forth again, but I'm pretty sure. That Mr. Chris still is the winner for tonight, being number 1, Mailula being at number 2, and the number 3 is Thad. Congratulations to the 3 of y'all for being the top fans of the night for tonight. If you want to be a part of the top fans, you can by joining us here at 9 o'clock, being a subscriber of the channel, being here early, and being active. Because sometimes being here early, even though you may be active, may sometimes help you. So let's go ahead and give them a round of applause. And that's all I have to say. Make sure that you tune back in tomorrow morning for your Tuesday morning forecast update, and also tomorrow evening for your Tuesday evening forecast update as well. We're going to be talking about some more stuff there. That winter weather that we were pretty much talking about last night, by the way, that's pretty much gone. Not really too much there anymore. But that's about all. Make sure you hit those 2 buttons before you leave if you're new. And make sure hit the subscribe button, like button, share button, whatever you need to do to go in and get the channel out there.